What's up YouTube? So I actually had this video loaded up before like 2-3 weeks ago, and I saw this Reddit thread, right? And it said, what is a casual player and is PoE casual friendly? So I wanted to kind of delve into this topic as it is about league start time, and there are probably quite a few people who are like, should I continue playing PoE or should I start playing PoE? And I hope these answer your questions because a lot of people do wonder, can you actually play PoE as a casual? Because they do see a lot of streamers and content creators just no life the game and get a massive amount of currency, and they're pretty much like, what is the point of even playing? So we're gonna delve into how casual friendly PoE actually is. So before we start, we have to understand what is a casual person, right? So what does it mean to play PoE casually? And this is probably the point of contention that most people get tripped up on. And what does casual actually mean? Well, for me, casual is probably around 10 hours a week. And I think 10 hours a week roughly equates to like 1 to 2 hours of play a day. And if you look it up on dictionary.com, casual says occurring without regularity, occasional, or feeling or showing little concern. But I guess if you're playing 1 to 2 hours a day, you're actually playing pretty regularly, right? So not really sure how well the definition for casual actually works, but these are some of the Reddit things I saw, which is PoE is one of the least casual friendly games I can imagine, if I'm being honest. From the mechanics, which have suffered from years of bloat, to the toxic players, to the time investment, is just not a good choice for casual gaming. And then this person said learning how to play PoE is comparable to learning a new language, right? So most people do not think that PoE is casual friendly at all, and that there's a huge barrier of entry. So next up, what do I actually think about it? And I'm gonna tell you the sad truth about it. And the sad truth is that PoE is a game where it is more important what you do outside of playing it than actually playing it. A lot of times, like, you save a lot more time by not playing the game and doing research than actually playing the game blind, right? So playing the game is definitely less important than researching how to play the game. So this is the type of game where you can sit on your toilet and go on your phone and watch a YouTube video and probably learn more about the game and get more progressed in the game than if you sat there playing the game for like 3 to 4 hours, right? Brute forcing the game and learning without accessing wikis, guides, videos, or watching people stream is incredibly inefficient. I would say most people would probably benefit a huge amount just from watching someone do a full SSF run rather than actually playing the game themselves. And yeah, you can learn a lot by just doing the research, right? The game is also incredibly bad at teaching players, and there's just so many different league systems. If you look at the previous leagues and how many leagues there actually are in PoE, there's just an infinity amount of leagues, and now there's even two passive trees, right? So if you take a newbie, right, a beginner, and they look at the passive tree or they look at the Atlas passive tree without copying someone else's passive tree, it's very unlikely that they'll actually reach even a great passive tree or usable passive tree. And it's not like PoE is super forgiving about giving you respecs and stuff like that. So the sad truth is that you need to do a lot of research outside of the game if you want to succeed as a casual player, right? So now we go to, is the game casual friendly? And these are the people looking at the graphs on PoE, trying to figure out what exactly is going on. You can even download Path of Building on your phone, right? So in my opinion, the game is not casual friendly at all if you intend to pick it up with zero research. If you intend to play the game with zero research, oh no, man, this app has some bad reviews. I wonder why. But if you intend to play PoE with zero research, you will probably hit a wall pretty fast. You might choose the wrong skill or something like that. But if you follow a detailed build guide and you look at a video or you look at a path of building thing and you actually learn the game a little bit by watching some videos, then you will do pretty well. And you'll be able to have a pretty good and smooth journey. And the game is also a lot more casual friendly if you already played a lot of RPGs before. Like if you played like Diablo, even though that game is kind of a meme nowadays, or if you played like, and even like MMORPGs like WoW, you will see that PoE has a lot of similar things and that there are certain stats on gear that you want. But the biggest thing about why the game is not casual friendly, if you haven't actually done any research, is that trade and third party tools make this game a horrendous casual experience. A lot of people don't really understand how bad trade is in PoE, and trade in PoE is probably one of the most convoluted things. So if you're for casual, I would highly recommend probably starting off in SSF, as it eliminates this huge portion of the game that is super, super confusing and frustrating for a lot of people. There are a lot of beginners who even get scammed really easily just by doing certain trades, and that just makes for a horrible, horrible experience. But at the end of the day, if you are experienced and you have gone through a few leagues playing casually, the game actually is really, really good. If you play casually, once you have a few leagues under the belt, and experience really trumps all. Like if you keep doing runs through the game, each run will be so much faster, right? And because it is so much faster, this drastically decreases the amount of time you have to spend to get through the entire game and to enjoy all of the league mechanics and to do all the bosses, right? So as your knowledge actually increases, the amount of time you have to spend playing PoE drastically decreases. So this pretty much creates a scenario that if you put in the time investment and you do the research and you actually enjoy the depth of the game, that you will reach a certain point where PoE is a pretty good casual game where you can have a job, come home and play for 2 to 3 hours a day and still be able to complete your 40 out of 40 challenges eventually, right? By the end of the league. Now, how can we actually make this game more casual friendly? And one of the biggest things is I think the tutorial in the game is terrible. It pretty much has you reading like a novel or encyclopedia in the game rather than making you go through the game and learning certain things. It's kind of a no handhelding. It kind of reminds me of Elden Ring in that the game doesn't really make it easy for you. And the next up is you want to have more viable skills in the beginning in case a beginner decides to level with one of the starter skills like Lightning Tendrils or Glacial Hammer. And this pretty much comes down to a balance issue in PoE where not all skills are created equal. So if you do decide to level with a certain skill without doing any research, a lot of times you might just get stuck even in the campaign because you don't do enough damage, right? And this next thing I think is a huge part of the problem, and this is the game's huge reliance on third-party tools like price checking software, like Awaken PoE Trade or logout macros, or it's just so many third-party tools that you have to use in PoE and trying to create your own item filter, right? There's so many third-party tools that someone who doesn't do any research is at a huge disadvantage. And lastly, and this is I think the biggest problem of them all, is the trade system. And this is why I highly recommend all casuals to try out SSF, because the trade system is an absolute abomination that probably belongs in the Stone Ages. So overall, I do think that GGG is an amazing, amazing developer that really presents a game that has infinite possibilities, right? The depth of the game is really good. And you know that GGG will not abandon the game and try to milk the game or something like that, and they'll constantly keep pumping out content. PoE is probably one of the few games that gets as much content updates as it does, and it really puts a lot of other games out there to shame. And even if their MTX and supporter packs are kind of expensive, they do try to constantly change up the game and improve the game, right? And if you like ARPGs and you like being able to fully customize your character and always be able to milk out this extra ounce of damage, then this is definitely the game for you. And if you like doing research and have endless possibilities, then be sure to play PoE. But if you're the type of person who just wants to go through the game and you don't really want to spend that much time with it, then you're probably going to have a bad experience as a casual player with zero research and not looking up any builds beforehand. But you should always give it a try, because I do think that PoE is a pretty unique game in what it offers. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you find more Mirrors, Exalts, and Mage Bloods to me, and see you next time. Bye.
Staring down